Welcome back everyone to the second episode of the TLDR series. This week we'll be talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, speaking in a remote world. As someone who has attended and spoken at events all around the world, and then suddenly transitioning to this fully remote setting, I can be the first one to tell you that it's been quite a difficult transition. So I wanted to share some of my experiences and observations with you. First off, the way we deliver talks has changed quite drastically. One of the biggest hurdles we now face as speakers is that rather than speaking to a room full of attendees and people, we now have to speak directly to a camera, which means we don't get to play off the energy that everyone gives us when we're at an event and there's all the hype and excitement, and instead, the energy is reliant solely on you. And even though it might feel a little bit awkward at first, I assure you that even a little bit will go a long way to making your talk more engaging to the audience. As we all know, preparing a talk can take a lot of time, but when you add recording onto it, it can easily double if not triple the amount of time that you're investing into the talk. And if you do decide that it's worth it, I have two pieces of advice for you. One, don't do it alone, and two, it doesn't have to be perfect. And once your talk is ready, I recommend calling or hopping on a video chat with a friend, hitting record, and just delivering your talk to them. By doing so, you'll minimize the amount of time that you spend recording, have emotional support as you go through the talk, and if necessary, you can still make edits afterwards, which is always a nice touch. Remember, you are your own worst critic. Even as a professional and someone who does this on a regular basis, I find myself still re-recording things that I have to say because either I forgot the line while looking into the camera lens or I thought it sounded weird. Either way, it really helps to have someone there to help you guide you through the process. And remember, your talk does not have to be perfect. In fact, my friend Rahul recently wrote this tweet that I thought summed this up quite nicely. If you see mistakes or misspoken words in my upcoming Vue.js Amsterdam talk, I want to let you know that they are intentional and well choreographed bits to give you the experience of a live talk. Winky face. Now, while remote events has a benefit of bringing attendees from all over the world together, it does bring us to our next issue when it comes to speaking at remote events. Number two, all internet is not created equal. When it comes to giving presentations, most of us are used to talking to a live audience where they can follow our slides and what we're saying in real time. Unfortunately, this is no longer the case. Whether it's your upload speed or their download speed, the reality is, as speakers, we have to account for the fact that going forward, all attendees will most likely have some sort of lag or interruption to either the visual or auditory piece of our talk. As speakers, how can we mitigate this? When it comes to using animations, make sure that you provide adequate time to pause so that users have a chance to transition from one scene to another. And as you're transitioning between different topics, make sure to give your attendees ample time to catch up by doing things like providing summary statements for what just happened or providing introductions for what's about to come. And if it's possible, ask your event to have live captioning, which has the added benefit of ensuring that attendees will better understand your talk regardless of their familiarity with the language. So, some of you may be thinking, what about users with reliable internet? Well, that brings me to my next point. Number three, distractions are inevitable. Unlike in-person events where attendees often commit the time and energy to fully engage and commit to your talk, this is unfortunately no longer true with remote events. While most attendees want to fully pay attention and engage with every talk at a remote event, the reality is there are a lot of interruptions that can happen, whether it's a text message, they need to go and use the bathroom, or just grab some food. As speakers, we now must account for this distraction. So, how do we mitigate for this? Well, the easiest way is to ensure that every talk has some sort of artifact that attendees can refer to afterwards. The simplest form of this would be a PDF of your slides, or, if possible, written form of your talk as a blog post. And with that, this brings us to my last piece of advice. Number four, participate in the community events. Because it is a remote event, I know that it can feel like you're just going to another meeting. After all, when we talk to in-person events, we have the opportunity to go from a big stage to a party where food, drinks, and planned activities were there for us to unwind and relax. However, I'm here to tell you that even showing up for just 30 minutes can go a long way for the attendees. As someone who had the opportunity to go to conferences earlier in my career, some of my best memories are being able to just hang out with speakers and get to know them. Don't forget, a lot of the attendees coming to these remote events would normally not have been able to come if it had been hosted in person. So this means you're going to get the opportunity to connect with people around the world that you might not have normally had the chance to interact with. In summary, remember that the way we deliver talks as speakers has changed in this remote setting. Also, since everyone has different internet, be sure to account for that when delivering your talk. Distractions are inevitable, so make sure to pad in extra room and reinforce your message as you deliver your talk. And finally, please try to attend the community events whenever possible. And with that, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Re-recording, blah, 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 blah. Okay, do it again. Where do I start again? I'm starting at, I'm thinking about my lines. Oh, crap. See what I'm talking about? Okay, let's do this again.